Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you out here from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer. He's on the East Coast, as always, and we're looking at player props. In this one, coming off a 3-1 night last night in these props, also went 3-1 in the best bets, so make sure you are subscribed to the page here and check out that video that we bring you each and every weekday alongside these player props. Also head to thelines.com and use that prop finder tool that Nate and I are using each and every day to make sure we're getting the best juice on all these bets we're making in the NBA this season. Nate, let's go ahead and kick it off here with these player props and Scotty Bonds.
Yeah, we got 7 games here, but I guess we are both all over this Charlotte-Toronto game. Love some terrible defenses and teams that have no plans to win this year when you're looking for overs. So Scotty Barnes to get the whole pile of stats, over 34.5 PRA. I love that. I mean, the one thing I was concerned about is, well, PJ Washington might be a pretty good matchup for him, but no. His last 2 against Charlotte, Scotty, 26.5 points, 13.5 rebounds, 8.5 assists. He does have a 31-point triple-double in there. The next game, 10 days later, PJ went from the bench to the starting lineup, and Scotty just roasted him. Plus 22 versus a minus 19 for PJ Washington. So that's not a problem. You look at, I mean, Scotty, when he faces a pretty good defense, he goes under, like Pelicans, Bulls, Knicks, Clips, and then he faces bad defenses. He goes over Memphis, Thunder, Hawks, even the Rockets are pretty good defense there, but this Hornets defense is defenseless. I mean, the coach Clifford came out and said, like, our problem is we don't have any talent. And that is just like so transparent and so true. And looking at the front office there, but in their last 8, since they let go of Terry Rozier, they are allowing the highest field goal percentage in the league, worst defensive rating, 125, second most assists, 4th most rebounds. Toronto's right there with them. They're both bottom 5 defenses. So I kind of like that for going back and forth here. Toronto is 3rd in assist rate, which is great for Scotty, who's playing that point forward. And Charlotte giving up the 2nd highest assist ratio. So there's a reason he's been having success against them so far this season. And I mean, after Toronto made those moves, they definitely invested even more in Mr. Barnes running their offense. So I think he'll have a big game here.
Yeah, totally. I mean, look, there's exploitable stuff in this matchup, so we'll talk about it because I'm talking about Jakob Poeltl. I'm going right back to him. He was at 15.5 points and rebounds because the books were slow to realize that he was back to normal minutes, I guess, or somebody was. And he crushed that number with 19 points last game and that disappointing loss to the Thunder for the Raps. But now he's at 20.5 points and rebounds, and I'm okay with that because he's playing the Charlotte Hornets, who don't have anybody to defend the center position. As we've seen, Mark Williams, I don't know if or when he'll come back. I don't know anybody. I mean, Gordon Hayward might come back. That doesn't equal rim protection. There's not much there for them. They are essentially dead last. They can sort of trade back and forth at times with the Wizards for who allows more rebounds and points to centers and whomever wants to hold that crown. But at this point for Poeltl, like, it does come down to the minutes too. And it's similar situation for my other prop, to be honest, where like guys coming back from injury, the minutes should be at about 25, 26. You do worry. You might worry about blowout potential, but I don't, to be honest with you. There are stats that indicate that Charlotte is going to hang around in this game and is live to win it. So with all that said, like, that's not, there's no like Poeltl and a money line prop or a bet here. There's just Poeltl to actually be needed in there to like dominate down low in the paint. And it is a situation where I at times I was worried that Poeltl, if you track his minutes, you're like, oh, he's only going to play big minutes in games where he has to play good centers, where he's got to be in there. Not the case, right? That is the case for some of these big centers, but for Poeltl, he's just averaged the 28 minutes or so like he had before he got hurt. He was down to 25 if you include like the game he got injured and then missed. But I see him as fully healthy back in here. Charlotte still continues to have. I mean, if you look at everything down low for them, the amount of times that people are going to the rim on them is second most, and they have the worst field goal percentage at the rim. Do with that what you will. They are giving up bottom 5 in second chance points. Their defensive rebound percentage as well is laughably bad. And yeah, like I said, I don't really know. I can't find anything that's like, well, you know what, they do this kind of decent. Nope, there's nothing here on defense. Like I said, second worst defensive rebound percentage in the league. So yeah, I think Pirtle is where you go. I'm sure Scotty Barnes is going to have his way. Like Pascal would have been a good bet in here, but we'll give those minutes and those sort of offensive rebounds and opportunities to Scotty Barnes and Jakob Pirtle. They'll just split them.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to officially make a bonus lean here for the over in this game at
Yeah.
226.
Yep.
The Raptors are giving up 130 in their last 8 here. They're 1-7. Like this is when you see these two teams, you think like, oh, this is going to be a gross low scoring game, but like that's not where we're at. They are both pivoting hard. They have offloaded assets. They're moving to the future, and the future of the NBA is games that total about 240. And speaking of which, the future for Charlotte is Brandon Miller, number 2 overall pick.
Yep.
Over 22 and a half points. You got to keep going with this. I mean, the usage rate is insane. 31.5% his last 5, getting 29 points. Last 2, it's spiked to 36%, and he's scoring 34 a game. Like I said, Toronto is hemorrhaging points. They're allowing 52% from the field. Now, Gordon Hayward might return here, but even with Gordo and Rozier, who takes about at least 20 shots a game, in the lineup, Miller had 20 points against Toronto on December 8th on pretty efficient shooting. And now he's shooting the ball like 25 plus times. Like it just doesn't matter. He's gone under this once against the Bulls. They, kudos to them. But even when the Hornets only scored 99 as a team against Indiana, Miller had 35 points and took 25 shots. Like this is just the only purpose of their season right now is to get Brandon Miller as much usage and get him as much shots up as possible. Like Gordon Hayward coming back probably on a minutes limit at this stage in his career on a lost team. Like I don't even know why he would play. But yeah, I don't think it's really that important. I think you just got to use Miller against a team that's given up a ton of points in the Raptors.
Yeah, I mean, if Gordon Hayward wasn't hurt the whole season, he'd be on the block. Like he'd be a tradable asset. There's no like commitment to getting him on the floor in any way, shape, or form. We've both been targeting Brandon Miller since the trade for Terry Rozier, and we go, oh, sick! 18 field goal attempts a game just came our way over here to a guy that we know that they're gonna instill some confidence into so that they can get him going for the future seasons. And like he's good. He's very good. He's a very good mid-range player, which we've all learned. If his 3 continues to get better, which it has, I feel, I've seen it get better through the course of the season, that only makes the rest of his game more dangerous because he is very good going to the rim also. And yeah, Toronto outside of Pirtle, who, like I said, should be getting 28 minutes on the sheer premise that like nobody else can protect the rim for this Raptors team. They don't even have a Precious Achua in there who's not even good at protecting the rim, but he would be their best, right? Like outside of Pirtle. So yeah, Brandon Miller should be able to keep getting his volume. Let me finish up here with show favorite. I know I can speak for both of us when I say Ivica Zubac is a show favorite. And we're going to go over 15.5 PR for the big man because we get him with some value here coming off of the injury report. He's completely healthy. No more questionable tags for him. No more out tags for Zubac. And so he's averaged 20 minutes in his last 2 games as he's come back. He also missed another game after they played on a back-to-back, right? And they were like, well, we'll just get you healthy and we'll play you in 4 nights when you're back home. So now he's had like 4 nights, 5 nights since his last game. And like we talked about in the best bets video, this Clips team is back home. They are a different team. He is a pretty impactful player for them because of the fact that he slows things down and he plays such good defense. And so the 6.5 boards is really somewhat criminal for him. He has actually gone under that once over his last 4 games versus Joval here as they're playing the Pellies, Jonas Valanciunas. But that is what I look for. Like in these guys' matchup, they go at each other and they both get the minutes and they both get their props, to be honest with you. And especially Zubac, who has gone over this number in all 4 of the last 4 versus Joval. Sometimes he's gotten like 9 boards and roughly 13 points or 10 points, but he's gotten over, and he really has gotten the points consistently as well, which are at a pretty low number for him tonight. I believe about 8.5. The reason I don't like taking Zubac points alone is like I noticed that he doesn't get the ball towards the end of the game if it's close, and I think we both think this is a close game where we would never hang the 7. We would actually take it if we were betting aside in this one. Probably feel better about the Pellies covering a larger spread, even as good as the Clippers are, but that just indicates to me that it's going to be a closer game where Zubac is going to be needed. So this is just a discrepancy in the minutes. Like he prior to the injury, he was playing 30 minutes a game, right? And now this number is basically pegging him at like 18 minutes, 22 minutes a game, or in this game. And that's just too low for me, because if he's completely off the injury report, he's going over, and he went over in 9 of his previous 10 versus on this number, because this prop was up at about 18.5, 19.5 before he got hurt. And so that's where I think it should be now that he's completely healthy in a game that they're going to want him to be able to bang down low.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to absolutely need him. The Pelicans are huge with Joe Val leading the way. So, yeah, I don't have that much worry about him getting benched. Yeah, this is a really good find if he is off the minutes limit here. I guess you got to maybe look for a little more intel or tea leaves to indicate like he's a full go. But being off the injury report, yeah, like what else do you want to see? And they definitely prefer him to protect the rim. I guess you want Zion to be in there, which is what you're saying for best bets, because like more Zion means more. You need more rim protection, and Zoo has been one of the best in the league doing that.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to predict if Zion is or isn't playing. To be honest with you, I just want him to not tonight. To be honest with you, I'm sorry, I want him to play tonight to get that choppy big man lack of spacing in there. So that is all the time we have for you in Player Props, though. Continue to follow along. As I said, we have a best bets video up as well on the page, so subscribe if you would, like the video, and until we see you next, happy betting.